I have Kelea with me this afternoon. Welcome.
Hi, how you going? Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we mentioned just before we went to that track, Evolution. It's very different to the next tune we'll hear in a minute. Very different genres. So
Yeah.
is that what we just heard? Sort of the vein you work in predominantly? Is that where you're going to head? In future?
I jump around a little bit, which I think sometimes confuses people, especially when they say, "Oh, summarize yourself in 60 seconds." Well, actually, I started out in the electronic scene with writing that track and learning Ableton and joining Women of Music Production Perth, and Josh Hogan also assisted me with that track, with the mixing and the drums. And that was my first single, and I poured my heart and soul into that. I was living by the ocean, and and it became this epic project that I had to complete. And I was like, how high can I sing? How fast? how hard can I take this? And I was very proud of that effort as my debut piece. And then over the years I've been doing gigs with WOMPP, who are an amazing organisation, and they subsequently offered me a place on the demos from the Wheatbelt album. And I live in the country. I've now moved to Gingin.
Excellent.
A beautiful little town north of Perth, about an hour. And demos from the Wheatbelt, very country influenced. So Dear Sir Madam is a ballad, and I write a lot of ballads as well. And it has a little bit of a country influence there with a steel guitar, thanks to Rada Studios, Dan Carroll and Matt Gio. And so when they put that steel guitar with it and their interpretation, it just worked, And today I'll be playing you an acoustic version on piano, which is my interpretation. So music has no boundaries.
No, of course.
It doesn't have lines between genres, especially not this.
So you don't have a plan to follow one particular vein.
No,
it's just whatever comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think you've got to speak to truth. You got to come from your heart and perform what is truth to you, because your audiences aren't silly.
No, of course they'll
see
sense
straight
it
through
as
that.
genuine. Yeah.
So you have to stay true to who you are, and and that's where I'm at the moment. But I mean, you can also catch me in a pub every now and then singing Akadaka, So a muso does what they do, as to make a living and a career.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm curious in making Evolution, being such a layered song, and you were saying off air it took you 6 months or something.
Yeah.
So did you find yourself listening back to what you'd done so far and think, maybe I should do this instead, or did other people come in and help you workshop it? Or
no, I did it all myself, along with Josh. Being in an isolated coastal town made it a little bit tricky, but also with software, Ableton, it's fantastic. It was sort of a duo effort, you always listen back and go, oh, I'll just tweak that. Oh, I think we should just fix this, or and that's just part of being a musician. And at some point, you have to draw the line and say, right, enough's enough.
Yeah,
just get it done.
On Dear Sir Madame, I mean, there's a bit of a story behind that as well. There's, as you say, speaking your truth.
Yeah, absolutely. That came from some personal experiences and from talking to people I know, a blend of things, really. It's about ageism and employment, and it's a big topic at the moment. I recently had the privilege of meeting with Ashton Applewhite, who's been on tour around Australia, who's an activist against ageism, and a wonderful speaker, and can't speak highly enough of her. She's an amazing lady. She'll change the way you think when you just listen to one of her speeches. And I was fortunate enough to meet her, and she very kindly featured the video, because it's on YouTube, Dear Sir Madam, on her Facebook page.
Great video as well, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, there's a story to that too. And so she featured it on her Facebook page and her social media, and it was picked up by Forbes.com and also Richard Eisenberg of nextavenue.com from America. And so I had an interview with them, and they featured the video. So I really got some traction, and it was very exciting.
Have you noticed some American fans through your social
media?
media?
Yeah, I have, and they've given me some great ideas.
Yeah.
And but more so, people share their stories about what they've been through, and you know, some people say, "Oh, I can't even listen to the song because it reminds me of the letters that I used to get." You know, because you apply for a job, and I mean, there's all number of reasons, obviously, when people apply for a job and don't get a job, but then there are certain cases where you just know that it is about age, and age just cuts both ways. You know, we got to remember that. It's, you know, the young, the old, they get discriminated against, and people need to be judged on their own merits. So that's what the song was about, and so we'll see what comes next.
Well, yeah, I'd love to hear you play it. We'll come back in just 1 minute and take a live track of Delesario.
Okay.
You are tuned to Homegrown. Keep it locked. You are tuned to Homegrown here on your Saturday afternoon. It's just past 1:30. I am joined in the studio with Kelly. If you just tuned in the last few seconds, she's about to play us her tune, Delesario, about ageism and that in relation to the workforce. Whenever you're ready, Kelly.
Dear Sir, Madam, thank you for your interest in our company. We received your life summarized in a one-page CV. We regret to inform you, you were unsuccessful. You were one of many, just not the best we'd hoped for. We couldn't help but notice a few minor holes in your application, and your choice to stay at home like a white chromosome gives us hesitation. Not quite suited to our political agenda, but we wish you well in your future endeavors. And the lines beneath our eyes are from mothering a child self-asleep. Count for nothing when they're blinded by an under 35 policy. Dear Sir, Madam, thank you for your 35 years with our company. We regret to inform you of your redundancy. Payment enclosed with some great referrals. You are one of many, and it's nothing personal. Yes, the umpires pick the sides in a game of high school popularity. There's a man with a briefcase on a bus and at a work age 53. So I'm sitting and I'm staring, hesitating in a box marked date of birth. Please fill in this application so our algorithm works out what you're worth. Sincerely, dear Sir, Madam, dear Sir, Madam, dear Sir, Madam. Thank you.
Amazing. Yes, Madame here on RTRfm Homegrown Wednesday afternoon. That's Kelly. And of course, you recorded that with WOMPP.
Yes.
And it's featured on this compilation here, Demos from the Wheatbelt.
Yes.
So that was because you were in Gingin that you qualified for that one, or how did that work out?
Yeah, well, because you're in the Wheatbelt,
Mm.
WAM are very kind enough to, if you live in the Wheatbelt, which actually goes all the way right from the coast inwards,
Mhm.
so it's quite a huge area, and there was an amazing number of musicians who applied, and so I was very, very grateful to have a place with WAM who encourage emerging artists to grow, and when you're given an opportunity like that, you certainly, you run with it, you take
Absolutely.
it, and you and you grow and you learn,
Yeah.
and it is definitely an evolutionary process.
Yeah, and the video for it is beautiful. Was that? It looks like it's in a town hall or something.
Yes.
Is that around in the Wheatbelt somewhere?
Yeah,
or?
that was actually Merredin.
Yeah.
We recorded the album in Merredin. All of us did, and it was amazing. The atmosphere in that theatre is phenomenal. It really touches you. And you've got to say hello to the resident ghost as well while you're there.
Wouldn't be a Wheatbelt town without a ghost.
That's right. You must say hello, otherwise weird things start to happen. And and thanks to the Merredin Repertory Club and the amazing acting abilities of Debbie and the Tengvalls there, it was fantastic. It was Kevin Tengvall. They very kindly donated their time and. Their skills were just beautiful. I was just crying when I watched them. And we had the amazing Robert Woods, who's a local film producer, who directed and produced it, and Andrew Poole did the lighting, and we captured the sunlight as it came through the windows.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And it was a special time, only about 15-20 minutes. We had to grab that time, and so we filmed it on site a few months later, and what came out was just very special. So.
If you like what you heard out there, you can catch it on YouTube. It's Kelea, spelled K-E-L-E-A.
Yeah, that's it. Kelea. Yeah.
Kelea. Oh, I'm sorry. He's like, when you correcting him, he's saying it wrong this whole time.
All right, it's okay. I'll live. It's actually a blend.
Just
of
wait
my
till
first
the
and
end. You can find it on YouTube and Spotify and all your usual outlets.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the whole WAM Demos from the Wheatbelt album is on Spotify and and SoundCloud.
And any live shows coming up?
Well, I've got the Christmas season coming,
of
so
course.
I'll be doing carols in Gingin and Dandaragan, and we're doing Bindoon New Year's Eve, and then next year I'll be doing an EP.
Beautiful.
So stay tuned, I'll keep you informed.
Absolutely. You can follow along on socials, Kelea, Kelea, as I've just been informed. Make sure you check that out. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you for having me, and a big thanks to RTR Homegrown and everyone here at RTRfm. Very grateful to have.
You are tuned to Homegrown.